This week on Simply Ming, it's dark and stormy time with one of the best pastry chefs in the country, James Beard award-winning chef Gianni Uzzini. Gianni was named one of the 10 most influential pastry chefs in America. He'll show us his best today when he creates an amazing frozen dark and stormy souffle.
No, it's not ice cream, it's more of a parfait.
And I'm also gonna do a dark and stormy, my way, with my dark and stormy donuts. And to get things rolling, I'm gonna make us both a classic daiquiri.
Oh man, it's so refreshing.
That's all coming up next as we cook at home, right here on Simply Ming. I'm so stoked to welcome Gianni Uzzini in the house. What's up, buddy?
How are
nice
you?
to have you here, finally.
So happy to be here.
Gianni's one of the best pastry chefs we have in America. You were Jean-Georges von Richten for 10 years. You were Daniel Boulud for how many?
8.
8 years. You were, it's a great story. You were CIA, right? You were a savory chef.
I started off, I grew up in the Catskills, started off savory, switched to pastry because my mom was a wildlife veterinarian, and I can't kill anything, man. I have a big heart, and it was like, brought tears to my eyes. So I said, you know, maybe it's better off. And I saw this pastry chef working with chocolate and sugar and making all these fantastical things. I said, you know what, this is a better move for me in my career. Plus, the pastry side of things is so much more precise, you know, so much more attention to detail.
Yep.
And I have to say, a bit more creative.
Interesting.
Chef.
I'm gonna make you a classic daiquiri. This whole show's about rum. We have a great dark rum for our desserts, but we're gonna make a classic daiquiri first using a beautiful white rum. So I'm going with 4 ounces of really good rum. And like you, I heard you say earlier, you like a little bit more acidic. So we're gonna go 4, 2 and a half. So there's 4 there. Then we're gonna go 2 ounces of freshly squeezed lime juice.
It's so important, you know. This is such a classic cocktail, and it's usually the first cocktail order at a new bar I go to. It's a great measure of where they're at as far as freshness.
I think you're right. House-made simple syrup, right?
Fresh juices, you know, fresh ice, you know, just everything matters. Every single ingredient, no different from in the kitchen. It matters behind the bar.
I so agree. And you know, all these great mixologists now that are around, I think it's so great that they're taking so much time and effort making great drinks, right? So throw those on you can throw them on the coasters.
Oh, you have coasters.
That would be your landing mark for your coupe.
Oui, chef. Oui, chef.
All right, so nice and cold. We're gonna double strain it, right? Because we want to get all the little bits and pieces out of it. And it's not really a foamy drink, but you get a little bit of bubbles created from the shake, right?
That looks great. And it's such a great summertime drink. It's refreshing, again, with the acid, and it pairs so well with that rum.
Exactly. All right, so there's our drink. All we do is take lime right in the middle.
Beautiful.
Lime.
Thank you, sir.
3 ingredients. Easiest cocktail in the world.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, man, it's so refreshing. So
not bad,
refreshing.
right?
I love that.
All right.
I love it. Perfect specs, too. You know, as you go from bar to bar, people change their specs a lot, but you nailed it.
Thank you, sir. Grab your drink. Let's go cook. All right, Johnny, what's your dish, buddy?
You know, one of my favorite things, you know, as we talked about, is a daiquiri, but I also love a dark and stormy. That's a great cocktail as well. So I really want to turn it into a dessert. So, you know, what is fresh lime juice, fresh ginger juice. I use a dark spice rum, like a Gosling, something like that.
Yep.
Italian meringue, whipped cream. Super simple.
Okay.
Super simple. One of the key ingredients, you know, is ginger.
Right.
As you know, fresh ginger is very different from anything you could ever buy, already pasteurized, already juiced, frozen, whatever else. So take the time to really just get the ginger, you know, peel it with a peeler, or use a great technique of using a spoon, take off that skin quite easily, juice it out, and then we have it to go. Same thing, lime juice. Fresh lime juice is key. You don't want to use anything that's been pasteurized or frozen or canned. And simply, all I'm going to do is combine all those ingredients in a unique way. First thing I'm going to do is an Italian meringue. 3 types of meringues, right? We have Italian meringue, Swiss meringue, French meringue. Italian's cooked sugar, Swiss is over a water bath, and French is straight. So just for a little stability, I'm adding a little bit of sugar. Low medium's great. And a little bit of cream of tartar. What that does is helps the egg whites kind of unravel and expand. So while that's going, if you don't have a juicer at home, another great way to do it, take a box grater. Use the fine side. Just grate it. Then take a little bit of cheesecloth. You can find this anywhere, and squeeze out that juice. You know, you don't want that sediment. So either way you do, it's fine.
You'll get the same thing. Looks like that, right?
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I'm just gonna pour a little bit of that out.
And by the way, ginger juice, if you happen to be nauseous, if your wife or girlfriend happens to be pregnant, take ginger juice, takes away nausea, and a natural antioxidant and all that.
So we're just gonna let that whip just like that. In the meantime, I'm gonna combine these ingredients. If you'll do me a favor, go to the fridge. We have our ramekins in there, as well as some cream. Chef, it needs to be whipped. I need your help on that.
I can do that.
I'm gonna combine the ginger juice, my rum. I have both lime juice and lime zest. You know, lime zest is great not only because it brings a fragrance, a floralness, a bitterness, but also a little bit of texture, you know? I'm always chasing texture.
Right, which is really, look, food needs to look beautiful first, right? Of course it has to taste good, but the texture, crunchy and smooth, and so important.
Just because it's a dessert or just because it's a mousse doesn't mean it has to be perfectly smooth. You know, we look for certain things that, like macaroni and cheese. It's creamy, it's delicious, everybody loves it, but it's the same bite, start to finish. But when there's macaroni and cheese with maybe like the breadcrumbs or the onions on top, the first bite's crunchy, next bite's a little bit creamier. It's always changing, so you're always interested in what you're eating.
I'm with you, brother.
It's just another level. So the way I'm gonna prepare this, you know, a souffle naturally would be baked, right? And as it baked, it rises. So we want to mimic that design element. So I'm going to take a little bit of parchment paper. I just cut these strips. Okay. So depending on whatever size your ramekin is the size you'll cut it. Essentially, you want it to be like an inch or so, inch and a half over the top of your ramekin. Little piece of tape to kind of anchor it. And then we go around in a circle to the other side. And all we're making essentially is a collar, right? So what that's going to do is that's going to allow me to fill the souffle all the way up before we freeze it, and then later on I can remove it, and it gives us the identity of a souffle without actually baking or rising. So meanwhile, again, going back to Italian meringue, what I have here is all this is sugar and a little bit of water, right? So these thermometers are everywhere. It's always good to have a thermometer in the kitchen. I agree. Not only for your proteins, meats, grills, doing big format meats, whatever you're doing, but also for sugar, you know? You don't need to have a candy thermometer. These guys are pretty cheap and they're great. So you want to go to 121 Celsius or 250 Fahrenheit. Essentially what that is softball stage. If you don't have a thermometer, don't fret. Take a little ice water.
It's a great technique. Check this out.
This is how I learned when I was a young student. Make sure ice water. Put your fingers in for a second. Go in, just grab a little bit of that sugar, back into the ice water right away. And this is why it's called softball. What you can see is the sugar makes a little bit of a ball. And that tells us what temperature our sugar's at. Okay?
That's awesome. Doing, Chef? Softball. I'm almost there, Chef.
So I'm there. I'm ready. And what you can see is in our mixer, we have some volume in our whites, right? And that's exactly what we want. So what you're gonna do, leaving it on a higher speed, you don't want to pour it down the side from the top because then you're losing all that sugar. It's going to get stuck to the bowl. Okay. You don't want to pour it too far into the center because you don't want it to end up on the whisk, which will then spray it anyway. Okay. So you're looking to hit the whites right at the top of the meringue.
At the top of the meringue, right. Love that.
All the way in.
So, well, of course, what's going on here, guys, is that sugar being 121 Celsius cooks the egg whites. Exactly. It makes them super stiff and shiny.
Right, it gives us a certain structure, makes it a little bit stronger. You know, Italian meringue, perfect, Chef. Italian meringue is the strongest of the meringues. French is the weakest, is the softest.
Just the meringue, not the people.
Right, just the people.
No, the meringue, not the people. All right, John, so that was like 6 minutes, is that right?
What we want to do is we're looking for it to be just above, right around room temperature. Right. You know, if it's too hot, it'll melt our cream. While you're doing that, don't fret if you don't have souffle ramekins at home. You can make your own molds, you know? Just take a little bit of water, brush any bowl you happen to have around. What the water does is it creates a little bit of adhesion for you. Take a little bit of plastic film and just line your bowl. All right, I'm gonna do this so my fingers are a little bit wet. And all you do, so now I have my own little terrine mold, right? So if you don't have a souffle mold, you do it this way. So let's get going. All right. First thing I want you to do is you're gonna pour the juice into me here. Okay. So very important how you fold. You know, we work so hard to create air. Right. So you don't want to just slam it through. You don't want to use a whisk. You want to fold it in. So when folding means start in the center and your turn. Go ahead. You can just stream it in. I'm going to go in a circle, into the center, up the side. You can see with every movement, I'm cleaning the side of the bowl as well as folding it back into the center.
It smells so good, dude. The ginger juice and the rum.
Oh, I thought you meant me, Chef.
You smell okay too, Johnny, but
I have a little vanilla
the ginger smells better. You have a little vanilla behind your ears?
Yeah, learned that a long time ago.
Good to know.
Okay, good.
I've known Johnny for many, many years. He's actually a very proud chef ambassador for Family Reach, charity that we're both very involved with.
Yeah. Family Reach is an amazing, amazing thing. I'm so honored to be a part of that.
And we help financially families who have a child with cancer. It's the #1 cause of bankruptcy in this country today, which is a crazy statistic.
So what I want you to do is give me half of that.
Okay.
So essentially we're sacrificing part of it. And what that's going to do is, what we're looking to do is get these at like textures, like temperatures. So already the meringue is pretty much there since we've softened it with the liquid, but
there's half.
You can go ahead, Chef, and use this. And Little Ming is watching you because I want Little Ming to understand how great his father is here as pastry. So Little Ming is watching you. Don't mess up, okay? He's very influential at this stage of his life. Everything. Give me everything.
All right. Let me scoop this up for you.
Excellent. I'm just, again, same thing. All I'm doing is gently folding. I don't want to knock off or knock out any of that air that we worked so hard, well, actually you worked so hard to create.
Yes, so hard.
With those Ming muscles. You just really want to be gentle at this point, folding your ingredients together. Not to knock it down, not to lose any of that beautiful air that we worked so hard. So at this point, I'm going to go into a pastry bag. If you don't have a pastry bag, feel free to use a spoon, whatever you have around. But for me, I'm just so used to it. Will you hold the bowl for me, Chef?
Oui.
Lift it up. Pour.
Looks awesome. Look how light it looks, right? This is like air.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Like you're plating clouds.
Thank you, Chef. So put this on here with this, lift that up. Excellent. So what we want to do is fill our molds all the way up to the top like this. Why don't you use the spoon to fill the rest of the ones?
Okay.
Well, I'll show you how to finish these guys off. So you want to intentionally overfill them just a bit and take an offset like this or anything you might have that's flat. If you don't have an offset spatula, you know what's great is a little ruler or a flat knife. And what you want to do is just go gently over the top, making it flush. Again, the whole idea of this is to mimic that souffle that's kind of come up in the oven. So we want it to be nice and even across. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Little Ming's still watching you, Chef.
Yes. He's very intense. I love this molding technique with just plastic wrap.
Yeah,
it's a smart one.
And if you have something like a bread mold, like a pan mold, it's great because then you can make almost like a terrine, same thing, and you slice slices like a slice of bread, and you kind of fold them over, and you can put in your favorite sauce, nuts, whatever you want. So this is a great technique. Into the freezer it goes. Best overnight, but if not, at least 4 to 6 hours. Remember, the alcohol makes it a little bit more difficult to freeze as well. So 4 to 6 hours. Overnight. But before you serve it, you want to take it out of the freezer and temper it for a good 10 minutes. You know, you don't want it to be rock hard. You want to have, you want that spoon to kind of glide through, but still be almost like frozen parfait-ish.
Looks awesome. All right, can you be my sous chef? I'm gonna make some dark and stormy donuts, and then we get to eat both together.
I'm gonna do my best, Chef.
Okay, stick around. Can't wait to try your frozen souffle, buddy. It looks so good. So
I can't wait to see what you're gonna make.
Right? Well, I'm gonna do the same flavor profile with dark and stormy. So we have rum, we have ginger, but we're doing chocolate donuts with a dark and stormy flavor profile.
That sounds awesome.
All right, so we're gonna go get started on the donut. Fresh yeast and water. You can use dry yeast, right? If you don't have access to fresh yeast, that works. Then we have a whole bunch of other products. We have AP flour, we have salt, we have sugar, we have cocoa powder, we have eggs. If you could pour that mixture for me in here as well. That goes into here, that butter mixture. So in here, this is just melted butter with milk and a touch of fresh vanilla extract. So that can go in as well. Perfect. And the only thing with yeast and whatnot, I'm just gonna, to mix yeast a little bit. You really don't have to. You just wanna make sure you don't add salt directly to yeast. You know that, right? So this is good. So now we can add everything.
If you are going to change the yeast, though, you want to make sure that, fresh yeast and dry yeast and instant yeast, they all have different ratios. So it's not a one-to-one exchange. You have to make sure that you do a little research and figure out if you're going to use dry or instant versus fresh.
You are so right. Fresh cocoa powder, sugar. Now salt. It's not touching the yeast at all, right? 5 whole eggs.
Great.
All right. This starts slow because you don't want it to go everywhere. And you want to go nice and slow. It's going to come to a ball. This is where a dough hook is so great with a standing mixer. And once it starts coming together, you can then go a little bit more. It's going to take about 10 minutes total for it to really come together nicely, but you just let the machine do its work. But concurrently, we happen to have 2 machines. Obviously, you have one, you can now make this cream afterwards, right? So here we have some 10X powdered sugar and cream cheese. And this, we're gonna just bring these 2 together and make a nice cream from this first. To this, we'll add some heavy cream, and the heavy cream is gonna make this like a whipped cream. And to this we'll add some ginger, some dark rum from Bermuda, some ginger beer, and some vanilla extract. All right, so here I can go a little bit more to get this 10X in cream. You can see this is starting to come together. That's looking good, but you really want this to mix nicely together. All right, so now this is cream. Let's slowly add a little bit of this whipped cream.
There it goes. Now it's starting to catch.
There we go. Now our dough's catching here.
It's also a smart way to do it, Chef. By putting the liquid on the bottom like you did, it prevents there to being a pocket of dry ingredients sitting on the bottom, not being incorporated. You can see your dough's pulled it up right away because you had that liquid on the bottom of the bowl. You're so smart.
So here, this is whipped cream. All right, so you really need to work this about another 8 minutes. This whipped cream is going to come together. Once this comes together, we can add all these other great flavorings. This is gonna rest for about an hour and a half, room temp, covered, so let the yeast do its trick, all right? So this is done in 10. This is gonna be done in about the same time, about 7 minutes, and then we'll get to fry some donuts. Yeah, check it out, don't go away. All right, Johnny, so we put the dough into a bowl, covered it.
Proof nicely, yeah.
Proof nicely, you want it gonflé, right? You want it to come up, so let's fry some donuts here. All right. So here we have fryer. You could roll it out and make donuts and cut it. We're gonna do just little balls like that. I don't want to squish it too much, right? Because it's nice and light.
Right.
We don't lose that air. Just like that. And they're gonna be a little. You may get a little bit of crack in them. That's okay. And they need to kind of be the same size so they all cook at the same temperature, same timing.
What temperature's the fryer, Chef?
375. All right, John. Do 6 or 8.
I got
All right, so he's frying donuts. I'm gonna finish our cream. Again, this was 10X that was in here and cream cheese. All right, I'm gonna take some of this great Bermudan rum, mix it with ginger powder, right? So now we have ginger rum, which is really the base of Dark and Stormy, right? Put a little bit of this in here, nice and spicy. Then we can get this going. And we're actually gonna add just a touch of ginger beer and a little bit of fresh vanilla extract, pure extract, just a drop. And when this comes together, just a little bit of ginger beer, just to lighten it up. All right, how you going over there, Johnny?
Oh, great, Chef, great.
Let's see how this tastes.
How do we know when they're done, Chef? Because they're so dark, it's hard like a traditional donut where we're not seeing any caramelization, so it's tricky with a chocolate.
It's about 4 minutes. Oh, this is good. All right, so this is gonna take about 4 minutes to cook all the way. When we come back, we're gonna actually do a little flambe to finish the dessert.
Ooh, how fancy.
Fancy, see you in 4. All right, Johnny, look how these are like doubled in size.
Oh, they're great.
All right, there we go. Then we're gonna take some just 10X powdered sugar. Give them the little give it a glaze.
Nicey, nicey.
And we'll do it a second time because these are still hot, obviously, so it's melting. So we're gonna do it a second time, all right? Then I'm gonna get just a little bit of, again, we got ginger here with ginger powder. So now we're gonna do a little bit of just lime.
Oh, nice.
Just cook some lime segments. A little bit extra lime juice, right? And then let's just making a little bit of rum sauce, all right?
There we go.
Cooking that, and then I'm gonna add a couple, once this alcohol burns off, add a couple of pats of butter. This becomes a secondary sauce, all right?
I like the reinforcement. Also the caramelization of the sugars and the citruses would be delicious.
Exactly. So now just a couple of pats of butter, and here's our second sauce. All right, my friend, I think I can plate up. How about you? Are you close?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on that quick. I have a couple little things to do quick, but no problem.
What do you have? Let's see what Johnny
So once
has
I take
going
off, once I come out of the freezer, we still have these collars on here that we created, right?
Right.
So what I have to do is take off my collar, and you'll see because the freezer and the paper, as paper attracts the moisture, it kind of crinkles a little bit. So I'm just gonna take 2 of these, remove the collar, We've tempered these just a bit so they're nice and soft.
Right, and that's key, right? Because you don't want them so hard, right?
Right. These are ice on the bottom. Whoa. Okay.
Those look awesome.
And what I'm gonna do is just with some little bit of warm water and an offset, I really, you know, pastry chefs have an attention to detail. You know, we're a little bit perfectionists. Just gonna run just a little bit. I'm just gonna quickly run a warm spatula all the way around. Again, if you don't have a spatula, you could use a butter knife here. Just warm it up, because if you just want it to be nice and sharp, looks like it just rose out of the oven. And again, just like you did with your sauce, I want to really reinforce the flavors that are in my dish. So I'm going to finish with a little bit of fresh lime zest. Again, this is from my newest book, Sugar Rush, and so many great recipes and techniques, you know, to get people feeling comfortable and baking at home for their families.
Right.
This is how I do it.
And I'm going to come right here and show you. So there is our cream that we did, right? So now we're just going to lay our donuts like that.
I like this family style.
Yeah, absolutely. Cinco donuts is perfect. Then we have this flambéed lime zest rum sauce, right? Take a couple of the lime zest.
Oh, it smells great.
Like this. All right, buddy. We are good to go. Wow. Awesome. Let's eat.
Super cool, super cool.
Have a seat, John. Souffle for you. Okay, a little Prosecco, right? Just
a little homage to my heritage. Is that what that is? I like that. Oh, that smells great. I could smell that citrus, the ginger, the lime, the caramelized sugars, even the richness of the butter is all coming through as I'm sitting here. I'm loving it.
Cheers to you, my friend.
Always a pleasure.
All right, let's try this souffle. Look how nice and soft this is. Look at that. That's perfect.
So again, you want this to kind of temper just a bit, because you want the spoon to go through, but not be, you know, it's not ice cream. It's more of a parfait. So.
Dude, that's awesome.
It's simple, you know.
It's like the lightest ice cream in the world, right?
You taste the ginger, you taste the rum, you taste the lime. Right. Nice and refreshing.
This is finger food. Get yourself some of that ginger rum cream.
Yeah, I want to get a little bit of that lime with it too.
Yeah, let me get some lime with that. What do you think, chef? Really? You don't say. Well, you know what? That's the best comment I've ever heard in my life. Well, actually, when they can't talk because they're still chewing, that's a good sign.
You know, usually. I'm always skeptical when my culinary compatriots want to cook with me and stuff, and this is balanced and it's delicious. It's cold, it's hot, it's crispy, it's creamy. You know, and we're always looking for these balance of our dishes, and I think you really nailed it with this one.
But this parfait, please do. But this frozen parfait, anyone can make it at home.
Oh, it's so simple, man.
It's so simple. It's a perfect dessert for a party, because you can have them all made, you mold them up, you're done.
You know, that's the beauty of what we do sometimes in entertaining. You know, is it's about thinking ahead, being organized, and be able to, you know, enjoy your company as much as entertain them.
Exactly. My friend, you are a master. Thank you for being here. So appreciate it, and thank you for being part of Family Reach as well. And from my heart, all you out there, always thank you so much for watching. Peace and good eating.